Atma is Nirguna, Nirakara, complete, filled with total satisfaction, joy, and happiness. So why do we have suffering in life? If you analyze all your sufferings in a quiet moments and apply your intellect, wisdom, and try to understand openly without having prejudgment about your old ideas, beliefs, thoughts, convictions, put them aside and analyze your suffering from spiritual point of view. And you will realize that every single time you have suffered, it's your fault. Your fault that you don't know that you are the Atma. You are the soul, not the body and not the mind. Whether you have reached to the Samadhi state or not. This is the unwritten rule of the path of Samadhi, path of spirituality. That sufferer is the criminal. In the outside world, it's different. One who caused the suffering is the criminal. But on the path of spirituality, is reversed. Dada Bhagwan says, Je bhogve ani bhul. One who suffers is the one who is at fault. In a peaceful time, if you sit down and analyze every single cause of your suffering, every single suffering that you're going through, if you go down to the bottom of its cause, your weakness will surface. The weakness is break of your connection with the soul. If you become totally lean means totally engrossed in your own Atma, you will have steadiness, you will have peace, you will have satisfaction, you will have joy. Every time you walk away from Atma, it's a sure sign that you're going to suffer. But we do it all the time. Whenever we attach ourselves to the mind and the body, suffering results. Say somebody insults something, somebody insults you, and it causes the suffering in your mind. The insult was given to your body, your external manifestations, your mind or the body were insulted. If you have not reached to the soul, soul is the observer of everything beyond the problems of the mind and the body. Then it would be easy to let it go. If the suffering happens, suffering is happening at the mind level. In a deeper state of consciousness, it would be easy for you to see that mind is suffering, not you, because you are the soul. The suffering happened because of somebody's insult is the fact that shows that you have continued your attachment to the mind and the body. And that's walking away from the consciousness. Every time you walk away from consciousness, you're going to attach yourself to the mind and the body. You will think that you are the mind and you are the body. So all its problems you're going to take over. You're going to suffer with the sufferings of the body and sufferings of the mind. So, and that is your ego. Ego is the illusion that you are the mind and you are the body. As long as you're living under this illusion, the suffering will be always there. When you break this illusion and start believing that you are the Atma, not the mind, not the body, you have reached to the kingdom of peace and kingdom of joy. But your identifications with Atma should be complete, but your identification with the mind and the body shows your incompleteness. Your suffering is a sign that you are incomplete within, and you are wasting your urja, energy, onto the mind and the body, instead of that urja becoming steady in itself and remain in the samadhi state, sthita prajna state. If you are overweight, you will tend to blame to the host who keeps feeding you, to all the environmental factors, wrong company that makes you drink or eat wrong foods. We always blame the world for our suffering, never realizing that again it was our belief that you are the body and we are the mind, and for the pleasures of the body and the mind we ate the wrong foods, we drank the wrong stuff, and now we are overweight and we blame the world. The cause of being overweight was our identifications of the body with the mind and with the body. So all its pleasures became our pleasures, and all its sufferings became our suffering. And that's the unwritten rule of the world, that pleasure is always followed by pain. And again, all these things are happening under the illusion that we are living, that we are the mind and we are the body. So again, sufferer is the criminal. And our crime is that we walked away from the umbrella of God, of full consciousness, full awareness, and we got mesmerized with the physical characteristics of the sansar. We got trapped into the promise of the pleasure that was given by the delicious food, alcohol, drugs, smoking, all those things, and even attachments to our relatives, spouse, children. All those connections that we established were because of our wrong identifications that we are the body and we are the mind. So the power of Maya is so strong. Because of that power of Maya, we are suffering. We wrongly believe that we are the mind and we are the body. So analyze every time you suffer. Analyze with an open mind. You will find that deep down all the sufferings have happened because you lost your awareness instead of remaining established in your own consciousness. You decided to step out and wanted to experience pleasures of the body and pleasures of the mind. And that's when the suffering happens. So if, in fact, if somebody insults you, that should start your introspection instead of taking a revenge and going back to him or her. The method should be to find out, why did you suffer? In fact, you should thank him or her that caused the suffering to you, that he or she was responsible for opening up the wound that you have inside, opening up the fact that your ego is still alive. And when the ego is alive, the suffering is bound to happen. Ego is your identifications with the mind and the body. When you transcend the ego, there is no suffering. So every suffering that happens is a reminder that your ego is still alive. And it is time for you to go within and find where the problem is. Be aware of your suffering. Face your suffering face to face. Do not walk away. Do not bury it down. Do not forget it. Keep that in front of you all the time. And little by little, you will realize that it was your mistake. And these mistakes are easy to correct. Go deep into meditation. Establish your connection with your soul, with your Atma. And little by little, be firmly established in your own consciousness and remain there. The world can come and go. Pleasures, the promises of the world to give you the pleasures can come and go. You remain steady, steadfast within your own consciousness. And that is the true samadhi. That is the true company of God, who will not let you suffer. It has never failed for millions of years, and it will never fail you. Sansar can trick you, sansar can cheat you, but we are the one who are keeping the connections with sansar. And sansar includes your mind and the body also, along with everybody's bodies and everybody's minds. And that's where the interactions are. That's where the suffering is. So remain firmly established. There is a word Mahavir has given. It's called salinta. It's an opposite of talinta. When we really get engrossed in the outside world, say you go for a music festival or a musical program and you become totally involved in that music, that's called talinta. That's where you're putting all your consciousness into one experience. But that is directed outside. So Mahavir taught a beautiful word called salinta, where you totally get engrossed in your own soul. And that soul is where your energy will stay, and your consciousness, your awareness will remain totally, deeply engrossed in your own soul. And then the fun begins. The joy comes, happiness comes, peace comes. If somebody insults you, you just brush it off like a lotus leaf gets rid of the droplets of water. They just roll off from you. If somebody shows something of pleasures, you will gently say no, because you know the pleasure is always going to be followed by pain and suffering. So you remain established within your own consciousness, and the pleasure and the joy will be always there in your life. So realize every single suffering is because of your body and the mind, and all the connections that are established along with that mind and your body, your spouse, your child, your friend, your money, your car. All those are imaginary connections that we have set up. And these connections are the cause of suffering. Realize that these connections were imaginary. They were under the power of Maya, and stay within your soul, which is the seat of consciousness, which is the ultimate reality. And that is you. Your soul is you. You have no connection. The only connection you have is with your soul. And even there, you and the soul are not two separate things. You are the soul. So remain firmly established in only one relationship, yourself. And the strength that you will accumulate with this salinta, you will be available to the world to help them peacefully, maintaining your solid connection with your soul. You will be firm-footed. You will be steady on your feet. And then the world will see yourself rather than your illusory self of ego, the body, the mind. And then you will help them to understand their sufferings. And you have become a Buddha. Have a good day.